Imagine an astronaut strolling across the surface of the moon, but with a twist. The moon is submerged at the bottom of a colossal swimming pool. What you're observing is part of NASA's intricate training regimen for their upcoming lunar missions. It might appear to be an exciting and enjoyable scenario, but in reality, the mission is far more complex and demanding than it looks. To understand this better, we need to delve into the specifics of NASA's training environment. The so-called fake moon is situated at the bottom of an enormous swimming pool located within the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. This facility, known officially as the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory, NBL, is a marvel of engineering. It spans 202 feet in length, 102 feet in width, and reaches a depth of 40 feet, containing a staggering 6.2 million gallons of water. Inside this vast pool, there's more than just a representation of the moon. The NBL also houses a full-scale mock-up of the International Space Station, ISS, where astronauts can practice spacewalks in a simulated microgravity environment. Additionally, an Orion capsule floats on the pool's surface, used for rehearsing water landings. This approach allows NASA to simulate space conditions on Earth, a practice that has evolved since the 1960s. The necessity for such extensive training became evident during the early space missions. When the first spacewalks were conducted in 1965, both Soviet and American scientists realized that maneuvering in a microgravity environment was significantly more challenging than anticipated. This realization underscored the need for rigorous training on Earth to prepare astronauts for effective performance in space. The same principle applies to lunar exploration, though it introduces additional complexities that require careful preparation. One of the primary challenges is that you can't simply place an astronaut in a spacesuit and drop them into the pool. The spacesuit, being inflated similarly to an inner tube, tends to float, which is problematic. Conversely, the suit cannot sink either, so achieving neutral buoyancy is crucial. This balance allows the astronaut to neither float nor sink, effectively simulating a zero-gravity environment. To accurately replicate the moon's gravity, which is 1/6 of Earth's, the spacesuit and astronaut must be carefully weighted. This involves adding weights and, in some cases, using foam to achieve the desired buoyancy. The goal is to create a balance where the astronaut's center of gravity and buoyancy align, mimicking the lower gravity of the moon while underwater. This meticulous adjustment is essential for providing realistic training scenarios that help astronauts adapt to the unique challenges of lunar gravity. Walking on the moon presents its own set of challenges. Despite the reduced gravity, it is actually more difficult to walk on the moon compared to Earth. The crux of this difficulty lies in inertia, the body's resistance to changes in motion. Although the moon's gravity is weaker, the astronaut's mass remains the same, requiring the same amount of effort to initiate and stop movement. With less gravity providing traction, movement becomes more cumbersome, which is why Apollo astronauts often experience difficulties walking and frequently fell. This is further complicated by the moon's uneven terrain and the bulky spacesuits that can hinder natural movement. The upcoming Artemis missions will involve extended stays on the moon, necessitating astronauts to be mobile for longer periods without becoming overly fatigued or damaging their equipment. To prepare for this, astronauts wear the XEMU Exploration Extravehicular Mobility Unit suits. Designed and manufactured by Axiom Space, these suits are tested in the NBL starting January 2024. The internal pressure of the suit is meticulously adjusted between 4 and 6 psi to balance atmospheric conditions with flexibility. If the pressure were higher, the suit would become too rigid, impeding movement, while a lower pressure could be dangerous in the vacuum of space. Achieving the right balance is crucial for maintaining astronaut safety and operational efficiency during the missions. Astronauts in the pool also face the challenge of decompression sickness, commonly known as the bends, caused by nitrogen absorption at higher pressures and its release at lower pressures. To mitigate this risk, NASA uses a special air mix with a higher concentration of oxygen and less nitrogen compared to regular air. This allows astronauts to spend extended periods at the pool's bottom and ascend safely without the need for gradual decompression like a scuba diver. This careful management of air composition is a key aspect of preparing for prolonged missions. The training setup includes a mock-up of the SpaceX Starship Human Landing System, a 9-meter diameter structure with a simulated airlock. Astronauts enter this mock-up and walk to a simulated elevator platform. While the actual Starship will lower astronauts 30 feet to the lunar surface, the pool setup simplifies this by having them walk down a ramp. The simulated lunar surface features rock structures and sand that mimic lunar regolith or moon dust, adding to the realism of the environment. Astronauts practice various tasks that they will perform during the Artemis 3 mission. This includes maneuvering handcarts filled with tools for collecting samples, picking up rocks, chipping away at boulders, and digging into the lunar soil. Additionally, they practice technical maintenance activities, such as detaching and reattaching hoses, to prepare for any potential issues that may arise during their mission. For added realism, NASA has recreated the lighting conditions that astronauts will encounter at the Moon's south pole. Unlike the Apollo missions, which took place near the lunar equator and experienced direct sunlight, the South Pole has a much more dramatic lighting scenario. The sun's rays approach from a very low angle, similar to early morning or late afternoon on Earth, resulting in extremely long and dark shadows. This variation in lighting creates unique challenges for visibility and navigation, which astronauts need to be well prepared for. To simulate these challenging lighting conditions, NASA has developed a lunar lighting simulator at the bottom of the 40-foot deep pool. Achieving this effect involves turning off all facility lights, installing black curtains on the pool walls to minimize reflections, and using a powerful underwater cinematic lamp to recreate the low-angle sunlight. Although images of this setup are not widely available yet, it will significantly impact the visual quality of video footage from the Artemis missions, offering a more dramatic and authentic portrayal of the lunar environment. The Artemis missions will also explore the flaws of ancient craters on the Moon, which have never been exposed to sunlight. This introduces another layer of complexity that NASA must address during training. Astronauts will need to navigate and work in these permanently shadowed regions, requiring additional preparation to handle the unique challenges posed by such environments. This involves not only physical readiness, but also familiarity with the specific tools and techniques needed to operate effectively in these conditions. Specialized training will ensure astronauts can effectively manage their activities in these cold, dark regions where traditional navigation tools may be less effective. NASA is preparing astronauts for the psychological demands of lunar exploration. Extended isolation and separation from Earth can impact mental well-being and performance. To address this, the training program includes psychological conditioning to help astronauts manage stress and maintain focus during the mission. This mental preparation is crucial for ensuring that astronauts can cope with the challenges of long-duration space missions and contribute effectively to the success of their missions. To enhance the overall training experience, NASA incorporates advanced technology and simulation tools. Virtual reality, VR systems, and augmented reality, AR environments are used to create immersive training scenarios that replicate the lunar surface and other mission-critical elements. These technologies allow astronauts to rehearse procedures and contingencies in a more dynamic and interactive setting, further bridging the gap between Earth-based training and the actual conditions they will encounter on the Moon. This intricate training process, conducted in a simulated lunar environment at the bottom of a giant pool, is a testament to NASA's commitment to preparing astronauts for the realities of space exploration. By replicating the conditions of space and the Moon as closely as possible, NASA ensures that astronauts are well prepared for their missions. The attention to detail and thorough preparation underscore the complexity and significance of the upcoming lunar missions. This extensive preparation helps ensure that when astronauts set foot on the Moon again, they are not only technically skilled, but also mentally and physically prepared for the demanding environment. As NASA continues to refine and enhance this training regimen, it exemplifies their dedication to achieving mission success and advancing human exploration beyond Earth. The meticulous planning and innovative techniques used in this training represent a critical step toward making lunar exploration safe and successful.